Hello, Class R. I wonder if you can remember right back in the start of the year when you first started in Class R with Norman, the Bumble Bear. So today we're going to read The Bumble Bear. Right then, I'm going to try and do this with Norman, but I'll see if I've got room. The Bumble Bear. Once there was a bear called Norman who loved honey. He really, really, really loved it. And he was always really sad when it ran out. But getting hold of honey was always a bit tricky. If only there was a way I could be a bee, he sighed. I could have as much honey as I liked if I was a bee. And then Norman had quite an amazing, brilliant idea. It was an ordinary day at bee school. We've got bees on the swings, playing games, reading books. Hello, bees, said the queen bee, who was in charge. We've got a new bee at bee school today. Ooh, said the bees. Everyone said hello to Norman. Ta-da! Hello, said Norman. Oh, said the bees. He's a little bit different to everybody else. Aren't you a bit big? Asked Amelia Bee, who was rather quite a clever bee. I'm a special bee, said Norman. I come from a land far, far away called Giant Bee Land. Thought Amelia. But then it was time for lessons to start, and she had to go. Wow. Bee School Day Planner. They began the day with some painting. Then Norman joined the buzzing practice. Buzz. Before everyone settled down for a little bit of a nap. The bees showed him all sorts of games at playtime. And Norman was brilliant at the waggle dance. And then it was time to go home. Bee school's amazing, thought Norman, and he could not wait to go back the next day. The next morning was even better. Norman was very good at finding smelly flowers, and the bees really liked him. He was so funny and friendly, and he always tried his best, even during flying lessons. He wasn't very good at. After lunch, the bees learned how to chase away anyone who came after their honey, like spiders, mice, toads, or even bears. Uh-oh, thought Norman. Amelia still felt there was something a little bit odd about Norman. She tried to work it out. She gasped, looking in a book. Amelia told the other bees what she'd found out, but they didn't believe her. Of course Norman's a bee, they said. Look at him. He's not a bear. He is not a bee, and I'm going to prove it, said Amelia. She took Norman and the bees to the secret honey store. Well, when Norman saw all that honey, he could not help himself. Thought Norman, very excited. After all, he really, really, really did love honey. I think you can see him just in there in that big splat of honey. There's a paw. See, said Amelia, he is a bear. What, the chickens? Gasped the other bees. Said Norman. He was asked to leave bee school at once. Oh, there he is, all alone. With Norman gone, things in bee school were a bit quiet. Norman was such a funny bee, they said. Norman was such a busy bee, said Amelia. Norman was a naughty bear, said the Queen. A bee school is no place for bears. But later that night, the bees heard a loud crash and a diabolical roar. Oh no, they cried, it's a bear! And the bear was big and nasty, and he trampled all over Bee School. He grabbed the hive and he started to shake it with his giant paws. Oh no, the bees trembled in panic. They tried to chase the bear away, but he was just too big and too bad. But then, can you see in the distance? A fearsome buzzing beast came through the trees. Bzzz, said Norman. Eek, squealed the bear. It's a giant bee, he said, and he ran away as fast as he could. The bees were saved and Norman was a hero. They gave him a big pot of honey. The Queen presented him with a special award. You definitely aren't a bee, said the Queen, but you are no ordinary bear. You are, I think, a Bumble bear. Norman loved this idea. And the Bumble bears were definitely allowed back to bee school. The end. I do like that story. Now, have a little think. If you were allowed to dress up as a different animal and go to that school, what would you be? I think I'd quite like to dress up as a duck. I'd go to duck school, I'd swim around the pond, and I would have people throw lots of bread at me that I could eat. Have a think.